Here's a quick movie to show how to update the dashboard files. I believe I had an old movie, but I'm going to replace it with this one because it's a little easier. I moved some things around. So first of all of the financial statements will be under the property folder under accounting and finance. I believe you have access to that, so you should find it, and it'll say financial statements, brackets, NLT, SLT, etc. And then all the dashboard files are now under this asset management NLT folder, which again is under NLT owner and then asset management. So the first thing that we will do is we will go into the accounting finance and we'll go to the financial statements and we'll look at the most recent financial statements, which is where you would have put them from the emails that we get. And so we'll go into this, and then actually the file that we'll open is actually now a Google Sheet. It'll start as an Excel document, but you can open it as an Excel document and then open as a Google Sheet, and then you'll have the Google Sheet. So when we open the Google Sheet here, in fact, we didn't need to do a second Google Sheet here because I already had it open, but if you look at the income statement. So this is how it is. It has the instructions, the raw data, and then the mapped accounts usually. And you'll see this is the mapped account is the one that we want because it creates these GL codes that are unique. But right now you'll see it takes a number of different columns to make that. So we need to actually copy this and then paste special as values to make it work. And then you'll see as you scroll to the right, you'll see every month is here. So every month has all the prior months of the year. So it's a year-to-date thing. But really, when we do this, we're only going to take the current month, which in this case is April 2019-04. So we're going to take all these other rows and we're going to delete them. Sorry, columns, and we're going to delete them, and then we're going to select this. This will go down to about 210 rows. So just select the two columns down to 205. We just don't want to extra data because it slows things down. And then we copy it. And then we're going to put it into the NLT financial data cleanup. Just to show you where that is going to be under the asset management folder, dashboard files, and you'll see it says NLT financial data cleanup. That's the file. So we go into this file, and then you'll see under data input, you'll see all the columns with the dates on them, and those dates are the same dates that you'll see from that report. But we're going to go to the one to the right of the one that's just been done. Just make sure that all the months are there. So this is January, February, March, and we're pasting in April, and then we do paste special values, and then it's in there. It'll take a little time to update the file, not very long, but you wait for it to do that. And then we're going to go into the P&L tab and just check to make sure that all of that data is working correctly. Because if the codes are messed up, then this data will be messed up. So what we're going to do right now is go to the P&L because it seems to have finished. And on the P&L, you'll see again, it has all the months. Before we put the data in, this column here for April will be blank. So you'll just go down here and you'll make sure that these kind of make sense. So these gray columns, make sure that there is data, number one, and make sure it's roughly the same amounts and the same direction signs as there is here. All revenues are negative. All this up here is statistics, so they're usually positive. Then all the revenue is negative, and just make sure that it kind of makes sense. You won't be able to have a gut feel for that, but you'll see like this is 7,000, 7,500, 7,800. That feels about right. These all feel accurate. So it looks like it's brought the data across accurately, 12,000, 40,000. And so you just go down and just make sure that, some of these, you don't need to go down all the way. Once you've done these summaries, I think it looks pretty good. So that's it. That's what you would do to do the financial data cleanup. But what happens next is that you'll make sure that it comes across to the dashboard. And so here, you'll just open the dashboard file, which will NLT dashboard new format. Again, where you find that is under the dashboard files, NLT dashboard new format. And that one is actually the one that we have open right here. And you'll see that April came through. So again, just do a quick look, make sure that April's looking good. And then down here, obviously, is where all the data came through. And once again, that looks really good. And then the final file to check is the file that actually is kept under the dashboard. So if you go to asset management and you go into the investor portal folder, that's where basically that website that I create, that's going to be the next video, has all the files there. And you'll see the NLT dashboard output is in that file. So what you'll do on this one is you'll look at the NLT dashboard output, and then you can change this date to April. and then you'll see if all the data comes through for April. So we're going to change this just to April. And then you'll see it goes to no data, and then it'll ask you to, I'm not sure why it's doing this. Oh, actually, you know what? We did it in the wrong file. So this one is always updated. You actually need to go back to the dashboard new format, and that's where you would go and change the date here to April. Again, sorry, excuse me. So the output is literally just the output. If you change the date, you need to do it in the NLT dashboard new format. You change this to April. And then all of the data here should change to April. You'll see this changes to April, this changes to April. All the data seem to have changed. And as you go through, just check that these have all turned to April. You only need to, in fact, usually I have all of these as black, so that you know that the only one to change is the blue one, is kind of how I do it, but I had it inaccurately done here. But you just check, make sure that everything that's come across is April. And again, we're just checking to make sure it comes to April, and then the trailing 12 is from May to April, and then year to date through April is 4 months. That's accurate. Kind of go through here, and it should all pretty automatically do that. So I'm just checking it right now just to make sure it's all come across. So it looks pretty good right now. And so then the dashboard output just takes that information really easily and creates all of these charts with it. So that'll be the next video, but that's all you need to do to update the data. So just so that we follow it, once again, very quickly, we go into the financial statements information that we took from the email. We open up the trailing income statement final CS with account numbers. Hopefully they don't change the names too much, but you'll recognize it. You go into this one. Again, remember, we clean it all up. I'm going to undo all that we did because we don't need it anymore, just to show you what it looked like at the beginning. If you remember, it looked like this. It had a formula here, and then every month, all of these months are going to be there. So we just take this one, copy column A as values, delete all the columns that we don't need, and then we take those two columns all the way down to however much data we have, and we go into the NLT financial data cleanup. Then we go into the data input tab, and we just go to the right. And again, look here, if there's no space on it, we just take these two columns and insert two to the right, and then we would paste it here, but we don't need to right now because we don't have May yet. And then obviously that would automatically update the P&L. Then you would just look at the dashboard data. This would automatically be updated. All you would need to do here is change this to the month that we've just done. And then you would just check in NLT output, make sure that all the dates have come across true. You don't really need to do anything here for this video, but in the next video, we're going to talk about how to clean this up and make sure all the numbers here are relatively accurate. So that's it for this video. If you have any questions, of course, email me as always. Thanks.